Today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Thursday, November 19th, 2015. And here are some of today's trends in the news. Well, you got that trend alert yesterday. Terrorism. Face the facts or face World War III. Nothing like it anywhere. Read all of the media. Everything that we wrote in that trend alert is being ignored by the mainstream media, and the march to war keeps moving forward. The drums keep beating louder, and so do the voices of the fat mouths that want to wage war. Not a peep about peace. On to the markets. Well, over there in Asia, things are looking better following yesterday's rise of the U.S. stock market on the news that looks like the Fed's going to raise interest rates come December, but only a little bit. And in Europe, not too much. Over here in the States, flat. Earl, mixed, but basically flat near its lows. Gold had a nice little pump upward. And again, the general economic news is being ignored. This is only a recovery that has been recovered from all of that cheap dough, as we keep going on and on, that they shoveled into the system to keep those stock buybacks and mergers and acquisitions going. So, the things that are ignored are Baltic Dry Shipping Index drops. How low? All-time low. The cost of shipping commodities fell to a record amid signs that Chinese demand growth for iron ore and coal is slowing, hurting the industry's biggest source of cargoes. The Baltic Dry Index fell to 504 points on Thursday, today, the lowest data from the London-based Baltic Exchange going back to 1985. It's a slowdown. Gloom for clothing retailers, even as U.S. economic outlook brightens. You know what that is.
Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit.
Total horse shit that the U.S. economic outlook brightens. Who wrote this not too bright piece? Lindsay Whipp and Eric Platt. Sluggish sales as holiday season approaches, amid signs consumers are starting to hold back. How can they write this crap? Consumers starting to hold back. Hey, got someone, they don't have any money. Could you add that up? Or is that number too big for you to add up? 0 and 0, because that's what we got here. 2 zeros that would write imbecilic child crap like that. Holding back. Yeah, I got so much money, I think I'm going to hold it back. Yeah, everything's going up. All the costs are going up on everything that you buy except a few things. But we're going to hold back. We're going to hold back buying a house. We're going to hold back on everything. You know, the reason why there's gloom in clothing retailers is because people dress like crap. Look at the way they go out. They look like a bunch of caffones. Jeans, crummy shit. Look at that guy. You go to that Drake character who's the big rap star with his new hit that they keep playing over and over again. She called me on my cell phone. She called me on my cell phone. Cell phone. Look at this guy. He got crappy boots on, jeans. There's no style. Maybe that's why retail clothing is going down. Look at the way the people go out. Now they're holding back. And on to other economic news. Number of things here in the Financial Times worth looking at. Barclays stalled electronic forex trades and lied to clients, says U.S. regulator. Barclays allegedly used its foreign exchange electronic trading platform to reject unprofitable trades and lied to clients about why their transactions were turned down. You ready for this? Prompting a $150 million penalty by U.S. regulators. Could you imagine if one of us did something like this? But when you're a member of the white shoe mob, man, you get a slap on the wrist. Oh, and they got really tough over here. Yeah, the New York department, they also said that they should fire the guy over here, the global head of electronic fixed income. Oh, wow, what punishment. Ooh. Remember, don't have more than 2 drinks. Make sure your license and registration are up to date. Don't go 5 miles over the limit. Make sure you walk the straight line. Look at this disgusting crap. What shit they throw out. Here, listen to this. The New York department, Barclays used algorithms to hold trades for hundreds of milliseconds. If markets moved in favor of the bank and the trade went through, if the client would have benefited, the trades were turned down, the regulators said. In one instance, Barclays staffers were told, if you get inquiries about rejected trades, just obfuscate and stonewall. Yeah, lie. Screw the people. U.S. regulators have also targeted automated and high-frequency trading. The Barclays settlement reflects one of the first major cases involved alleged abuse of algorithms. The case highlights the need for greater oversight, blah, 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 blah. Algorithms, you get it? The whole game is rigged. How many more of these things do we have to see before you call it a criminal operation? Nah, yeah, U.S. regulators. We'll just call it, I got it, a misdeed. Disgusting. Signal rate move has ECB credibility at stake. Oh, how could the ECB credibility be at stake when the organization's run by Mario Draghi, the former head of the Goldman Sachs gang? Credibility. What credibility? You have to be incredibly stupid to believe there's any credibility out there. The hints or signals in the language of central bank watchers have become heavy. The European Central Bank will do something in December to stimulate the Eurozone economy further by extending or enlarging its experiment in unconventional monetary policy. Experiment in unconventional monetary policy. What do you mean unconventional? How about screwing us any way they could imagine? Is that unconventional enough for you? Germany can borrow for a decade at 0.5% per year. Yesterday, Berlin sold 2-year government debt at a record low yield of minus 0.38%. For terms of a 5-year or less bond, bond buyers pay them to take their money. Italy and Spain, the largest members of the peripheral Europe, pay under 2% a year on 10-year bonds. That's even less than the U.S. government. And here's how the scam goes. ECB ready to delve deeper into negative rates. A move is seen as one of the most effective means of weakening the euro against the dollar. They actually write this. Oh, that's great. Really weaken that euro against the dollar so all the people have to pay more for everything that they buy. And it gets better. As the U.S. Federal Reserve is expected to raise its benchmark rate next month, a weaker euro would improve trading conditions for exporters and make life easier for the ECB as it tries to increase inflation towards its target of just 2% by raising the price of imported goods. Could you believe this stupidity? I just read to you the Baltic Index. By weakening the euro, you're not going to sell more things. Look at the numbers coming in. Look at the wage declines. But they're putting out this big lie because it's a fraud. And they're just keeping this Ponzi scheme going, and they'll make up any story to do it. Policymakers. How about a bunch of assholes in control? Whether it's in the Fed or whether it's in the governments. No, let's call them policymakers. Let's be proper. And remember, if Trump could say shit, I could say asshole. Policymakers hope cuts deeper into negative territory would push banks to pursue lending to riskier businesses and households where potential profit margins are relatively high. This is sick. The concept of charging savers spooks people, but negative interest rates, you ready for this? Have long been a feature of economic theory. Whose economic theory? How about the theory of the madman? It's such...
Warning, bullshit alert.
Though negative nominal rates are still a novelty, real interest rates, which discount for inflation, have strayed below zero since the early years of the financial crisis. Okay. You just said over here that it's long been a feature of economic theory. And then you said over here that it began in the years of the financial crisis. That's not so long ago, 2009, when they started this. Actually, 2008. But that's how they sell the lie. Hey, good news, folks. All you little liberals, don't forget to vote for Hillary. Keep playing that Democratic fraud card. That's right. Here you go, right from your commander-in-chief, the liar that got his way into the White House and other ones to follow him and before him. Genetically engineered salmon approved for consumption by the FDA to FU. Federal regulators, policymakers, wankers, approved the genetically engineered salmon as fit for consumption. Hey, if they say so. And here's how stupid it all is. The approval for salmon has been fiercely approved by consumer environmental groups, which argued that the safety studies were inadequate and that wild salmon populations might be affected if the genetically engineered fish were to escape into the oceans and rivers. Here you go. What are they afraid of? This is from Bernadette Dunham, director of the agency's Center for Veterinary Medicine, sent a statement, quote, the FDA has thoroughly analyzed and evaluated the data and information submitted by Aqua Bounty. That's the company that's genetically modifying this stuff, regarding Aqua Advantage salmon, and determined that they have met the regulatory...
Today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Friday, February 5th, 2016. And here are some of today's trends in the news. On the market fronts, over there in Asia, well, not another good day for Nikkei. Whoop, down again. And this is after, if you remember, the Bank of Japan's president, who lied to Parliament and said he was not going to initiate negative interest rates. And then when he went to Davos and came back, changed his mind, and they announced negative interest rates, the Nikkei went up. But now it just keeps going down. In Shanghai, down a bit too. Hang Seng, markets over in Europe, down. And oil. Whoop, oil was way up. Oil was way down. Closed down. Gold. Boom. Bam, right at the end of the day. Up some $15. And the Dow. Whew, the Dow was way down. Yeah, well over 250 points. First it was up, then it was down. Closed down 211 points. Not very good. U.S. stocks tumbled, with the NASDAQ 100 plunging to its lowest in 5 months, as disappointing earnings sent consumer and technology shares lower. The NASDAQ was down 3.25%. Remember, this thing was at 5,000 just some 16 years ago to the date. And now you see where it is. We had I mentioned the Japanese index fell 1.4%. Equities have fallen for 4 of the past 5 weeks, as losses among exporters wiped out gains incurred after the Bank of Japan unexpectedly bolstered monetary stimulus on January 29th. Unexpectedly bolstered. Unexpectedly rigged the markets. Unexpectedly have killed capitalism. Unexpectedly, or maybe not unexpectedly, because it's been a long trend since the time Jesus Christ beat the money changers out of the temple, it's bankism. It's just more obvious now. And when you read the reports coming out, and they give you, like that one I just read from Bloomberg, not a mention of the job numbers in it. That's right. The job numbers here in those states came out, and they're not good. They were expecting about 190,000 to 200,000 jobs, came in around 151,000. And then you look at all the jobs that were created in retail. How could this be? Retail? Oh, Kohl's stock takes a beating on disappointing holiday results. Oh, that's why they had more retail jobs? Oh, how about all those layoffs in Macy's and Walmart's? Hey, Ralph Lauren posts 40% profit fall for holiday quarter. Yeah, that'll give you some retail jobs. As of the end of January 2016, this is according to the Hamilton Project, our nation faces a jobs gap of 1.8 million jobs, the number needed to return to pre-recession employment as a share of the population. Fundamentals of the economy are sound, folks. So, the game is changing, and so is the language. Citigroup, world economy trapped in death spiral. Stronger U.S. dollar, weaker oil commodity prices, weaker world trade, petrodollar liquidity, weaker emerging market growth. And it goes on and on. Significant and synchronized global recession and a proper modern-day equity market, end quote. The world appears to be trapped in a circular reference death spiral, Citi strategist said. Gee, check this out. Today's Financial Times. Why more people think a U.S. recession is around the corner. Check the lingo. The dollar is falling sharply, while the markets bet ever more confidently that there will be no rate increases from the Federal Reserve in 2016. Driving this situation is a rising belief that the U.S. could be slipping into a recession this year, a possibility that only a few weeks ago was regarded as negligible, writes John Authors. What arrogance Negligible may be to nimwits, huh? Negligible may be to business media prostitutes who are always trying to jerk the market higher with their
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
Yeah. Take precautions. Now they're starting to talk about what you know we've been saying now when we issued our top trends for 2016. Global recession. Ended this broadcast, Trends in the News, on December 30th. The panic of 2016. We're 5 weeks into the year, and it's been down all the way. But gold is going up. Think back. I mentioned this little lying guy over there with the Bank of Japan. After he leaves Davos, he shoves negative interest rates into the system when he said to Parliament, when he lied to Parliament, how do you say lie in Japanese? That he wasn't going to go for negative interest rates. And then remember we had Ray Dalio at Davos, Davos, and Draghi. Dalio calling for more stimulus to boost the markets. The biggest hedge fund operator in the world, or right up there, if not the biggest. And then Draghi, the Goldman Sachs cat, who engineered Greece getting into the Euro group when they weren't qualified, when he was with Goldman Sachs, and now the ECB president, after Dalio complains about the soft market need for more stimulus, Draghi comes out and says, hey, I could stimulate. Wait till March. Go back to January 21st, when all this began to happen. And look how gold has gone up from there. Over $70. That's right. Because the people that are watching this, like myself and others, see where it's heading. They're flooding the market with fake money. End of story. Conoco cuts dividend in face of gloomy outlook for oil. Why gloomy outlook? That's pessimism, man. That's the president said. That's pessimism. What gloomy out? Don't be a gloom and doomer, Conoco. ConocoPhillips has become the first large U.S. oil production company to cut its dividends in response to the decline in oil prices, yesterday announcing a 66% reduction as it attempts to shore up finances. Oil rout points to broader woes. Why these negative people? You got to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. This is pessimism. You should be reported to Obama. Yeah, he came out today and said how great that low 4.9% unemployment rate is. The reason the unemployment rate went down is because once you're off benefits and you're no longer collecting unemployment and you can't find a job, they don't count you anymore in the USSA. Yeah, they picked that one up from Stalin maybe, huh? Anyway, few economists see recession, but forces driving energy slump threaten to infect U.S. Oh, few economists. Yeah. Few economists that you listen to. Few economists that are on the payroll, Jack. Worries about energy-related bankruptcies and loan defaults also are helping to tighten financial conditions, weighing on the broader swath of the economy. Economic gauges already indicate an industrial recession. The Federal Reserve reported this month that its index of industrial production has fallen 1.8% over the year ended December. a drop that has always been accompanied by a recession since the 1970s. They put this fact right at the end. Now, let's see if we could add industrial production, right? That's making things. Duh, right? Yeah. What was the durable good orders down? Well, minus 5.1%. Guess what, folks? When you look at the job numbers that came out, nice little boost in manufacturing. Just like there's a nice little boost in retail. They're making this crap up. These facts that they're pumping out of our system are as phony as the ones coming out of China. And why not, man? You're doing business with the communists. You got a fascist government that robbed us of our rights every time they can, gave us too big to fail, TARP, and every other way to screw us and build up the big guys. Yeah, them too big to fails, 40% bigger. It's perfect. The fascist liars with the communists. It's globalization. Engine maker Cummins hit by slowing truck sales. Engine maker Cummins said its fourth quarter profit plunged 64% due to anemic commodity prices and slower growth in developing markets. I'm mentioning this because they're going to say that the U.S. trade deficit widened in December as a strong dollar and weak global demand continued to weigh on exports. But wait a minute. Obama said he was going to double exports. He lies about everything else. He can lie about that. Take it easy, Celente. Now, wait a minute. Cummins isn't exporting not because the dollar is strong. It's because global demand is weak. The Commerce Department said today the trade gap rose 2.7% to $43.4 billion. November's trade deficit was revised down to $42.2 billion from a previous reported $42. Lackluster global demand and a higher dollar. Yeah. Investors punish Credit Suisse as losses highlight bank sector pain. Wow, son of a gun. Investors have sent U.S. financial stocks down more than 11% just since the beginning of this year. European bank equities nearly down 20%. Globally, the financial sector is the worst performing in the MSCI World Index. I could go on and on and on. About $350 billion has been wiped off the value of the largest 90 U.S. financial stocks since the start of the year. Has nothing to do with a strong dollar. Nothing. It's a global slowdown. Remember yesterday I read about what the Chinese are buying up everything? Chinese firms chase deals abroad and how much it's increased already this year? Well, folks, the Chicago Stock Exchange said a Chinese investor group agreed to acquire it. We got wars to fight. We got people to kill. Oh, yeah. It's America. Think I'm kidding? 5 years on, West ponders another Libyan intervention. And the language, Libya's one after another, they're saying, for example, since the fall of dictator Muammar Gaddafi, they have this trouble. Not the fall, the overthrow, the murder. Oh, and talking about murder, Hitler was on with Bernie Sanders. Fraud with fraud, yep. Fraud, whatever they are, you know. Who's that guy? Freud. Freud, frauds. Yeah, it's perfect. Politics. And they're arguing which one is more of a progressive. Both of them. Both Bernie and Hitlery. That Gaddafi has to go. And now America's going back. Isn't it wonderful? So the markets are in turmoil. Panic's setting in. Gold prices are going up. Remember what I said yesterday. Gold has to go over 1,200, stay there for a while and move higher. When it goes over 1,400, whoop, I say it's going to hit the 2,000 mark again, or get right near it. Didn't hit it quite the last time, it got very close. This time it's going to hit it and go over. The panic is on. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's Trends in the News.